I just finished or almost finished Your Happy ADHD. So I thought that was great. And I did learn a lot of wonderful tips in that, just in functioning. But I am in my early 70s and I am struggling with discerning balance really day to day because there's so many things that I want to do, knowing I may only have a decade left or two. I mean, I just don't know my given amount of time. So I'm trying to focus in day by day. And I wanted to really get a clearer picture on what a balance in a daily routine, because you had some great ideas in the back of your book as far as sleep and diet and exercise and work. Can you give me a picture of what that might look for you or for someone else that has really felt like they've gotten that right?
Well, first of all, thank you for calling in. Second of all, I appreciate you reading the book. As you know, I just published that a couple of weeks ago, so I'm pretty excited that people are already picking it up. In terms of balance, I think that goes to what your main priorities are going to be, right? Because as you mentioned, if you're in your 70s, you don't have that much time left on planet Earth, and neither do I, so we want to make the most of it. So in terms of priorities, have you ever written down like what your top priorities are in terms of your life, like written them down and really looked at them?
I have, and I guess I'm even asking for it to be refined in a more specific way as far as hours and time in a daily slot.
So when you look at your priorities, what are they?
Exercise, eating healthy, which entails a lot of shopping. My husband's aging, so a certain amount of being available and helping him, having my home in order. And then I work, but I can work finally, part-time. I don't have to work 8 hours a day. I can have many days where I'm not working and I can finally pass off work. And when I do that, I have more time. So that's learning a balance there. I'm wondering what people feel like is a balance for them, just to look at it, not so much to compare, but what have they found in their lives where there's a happy balance?
Well, I keep going back to why you keep asking the question about balance. Like what is going on with that? Like, why do you feel someone balanced? Because it seems like you have your priorities straight, you know what they are, but what happens that it's not feeling balanced?
I guess I want to know if I have it right.
And why do you think you
So,
need that validation?
okay. So I'm in my early 70s. I don't know anybody that is working that is my age. And I am comparing right here just mainly to get understanding. So what I see, all of the people that have been my friends, new friends, old friends, family in their early 70s or older, they spend all their time either with their grandkids or playing cards. So they play cards literally 5 and 6 days a week. And several of them, many of them still will spend, an hour or two of exercising daily and cooking and socializing. I just think life is more than playing cards 5 days a week and socializing and exercising. I don't want to spend my last 10 years for myself or 5 years or 20 years on myself. I want it to have more meaning.
Well,
And
it does sound like you're already accomplishing that because you're not deciding to play cards or mahjong 5 days a week. You've decided that you want your life to be about service and everybody gets to choose how they want to live their life. And so it sounds like you are actually in balance, but I still go back to why you're looking for validation from myself or for anybody about that you have
okay,
a more balanced life. Answer that
I
question.
guess I feel alone
Okay,
in my focus and what I'm doing.
got it. Okay, so that's really the question. It's not about balance. It's about how can I not feel alone? And you're saying I'm comparing myself to all these other people and they've made other choices. And so I feel alone over
Yes.
here. Right. So how are you going? Right. So how are you going to really think about this question? How are you going to validate this for yourself so you can be comfortable with it and not keep asking this question about balance? What do you need to figure out so that you can be happy with the choices you've made?
Well, that's why I'm calling you.
All right. But
I'm
Okay, but think about it. You said I'm alone and I don't have any of my friends that work anymore that are in their 70s. So maybe you need to find a role
Yes.
model that's in their 70s, that has a balanced life, that works, that takes care of their kids, that goes for a bike ride, that eats healthy, that takes care of their husband. You need to find a role model, I believe.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Okay, so but how can we find this role model?
Keep looking.
Well, I think you should ask. I just think you should ask. I think you should go into your office and say, does anybody know anybody else in their 70s who I could have a conversation with? Or you could go on one of those moms of Facebook pages, or you could ask your other friends. I'm trying to find somebody that I can talk to who's in my age group, who works, but is attempting to have a balanced life so I can just make sure I'm not the only one over here doing it. And I think you
Okay.
1,000,000% better.
Okay, that sounds good.
So what are you
That just
actually
gave
going to
me an
do?
idea.
Great. What are you actually going to do?
Yes, I can actually, yeah, go in. There are a few people in my office I can ask. And I do have a group that's once a month, but they all play cards. But I could ask them, you know, if they have other people in their group or friends that work. And maybe, I could join something more than my once a month lunch group.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound like you need to get some validation because you are alone in terms of that you're still working and most people are retired and doing other things, and both choices are good. But because you haven't found anybody that's still working, I do think that's the issue. It's not about balance. It sounds like you have an amazing life. You got a lot going on. I just think you need to not feel alone in the fact that you're doing that. All right. So call back and let us know how it goes. All all right. Have a wonderful day.